Should we remake the scene from The Office with the 5K this Saturday? Where you have Mike like run down the road actually eating fettuccine, carbon up.
Fettuccine Alfredo. That fettuccine was sitting in my stomach like a rock.
Gotta think a mile, walking a mile. I mean, pace is probably going to be
10
about...
minutes. Walk a 10-minute mile? Okay, 15.
Some people might walk a 10-minute mile. I mean, I can walk a 10-minute mile. I can run a mile right now. I might be fat. But unlike Team USA, I have grit, okay? I'm built different.
We know.
I didn't really
I'm a dog. All I know is Team USA needs to have Coach Prime be the next team captain.
Amen.
So we coming.
Welcome back to episode 23 of the Loggerhead Golf Podcast. After the Ryder Cup, we can clearly see that Nikki wore blue to kind of rub it in a little more. Mr.
Yep.
Turncoat over here.
Yep. I'm not a big told you I'm right, but I was right. So no, it was our predictions did pretty well.
Yeah.
Half a point. All from
I'd say total score. You were a half point off.
Yep.
So were you. What did Caleb still choose Team USA to win? I think, and then you still chose USA.
No, I chose Europe.
Oh, you chose Europe.
Yep.
And then it was DJ and Caleb. I said blowout win on the European side, and for an hour on Sunday, it looked like it was going to be close, but it was a blowout win on one side. And you know what this tournament kind of proves that, probability statistics, right? It's close to impossible for Team USA to win on European soil.
Nah, I don't believe that. I mean, I just think it just comes down to preparation and, effort. I think if anything, we'll talk later on about the captain, but I think, truly believe that, if you are the best players in the world, you can win anywhere.
True. Well, I'll say that before that, since it'll be the only win an American takes this past week, we're going to be giving away this driver, right?
Yeah, pretty excited for this. Raffle went really well. So for those that didn't know, we raffled off a custom U.S.A. Stealth 2 stealth driver with a limited edition Acura U.S. Open shaft. So what we're going to do is everybody that participated, ticket is inside this bag. We're going to shake it up, pull one out, and we'll give you a call if you won. So we'll let
You want to draw?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be careful that bottom that's got a little, yeah.
Deflate gate.
20 minutes later.
Remember, you're all winners in our hearts.
I'll mix them up with my hand. This is not rigged.
Grab the house one.
Daryl Posey. Yes. No, I'm just kidding. Mr. Tom Parisi.
No way. You got, my gosh. Holy cow.
Tom, if you're watching today.
He will be watching. Trust me.
He's going to flip out of his chair.
He is guys, he's a very loyal customer. He's a great ambassador of our store and takes lessons from Nikki and is just a great human being overall. And
he is by far like the biggest golf fan.
Yeah.
And what he was texting me all throughout the Ryder Cup. Like when Rory hit that 3-wood on, he's like, "Did you just see that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, he's a freak of nature." Like that's, well, congrats.
Congrats, Mr. Tom.
Yep.
Thank you all for
participating.
And we'll put another shaft in it for Tom because he can't swing that.
Wow. I'll take that shaft.
Yeah, that's why I kept telling people. I was like, "I'll give you the head, I'll keep the shaft." But that was Wyndham Clark's shaft. Didn't work for him this past week, but
Neither did his mouth.
that is true. That is true.
Geez.
I mean, so that kind of leads a little bit into, we talk about it. What were the team dynamics like?
Well, there was one team out there and then some American players.
I agree with Kyle's statement. I cannot believe what I was watching. There was no team camaraderie amongst Americans. You didn't see the fist pumps and the drive that I've seen in the past.
Well, it was very cliquey. I mean, and they set it up that way because the first thing when Sam Burns is on is, he's best friends with Scotty Scheffler. and then, you got, Jordan Spieth and Justin Thomas, and it's like you've got friend groups. You don't have a team, you've got friends.
What I don't like, right, because then they tried saying after the afternoon match of day 2, right, when Europe finally won a session.
USA.
Or USA, sorry, and which they got handed that session. But they tried saying the team's never been more united. Like Zach Johnson, we're united and we're fine. It's like, why does it take controversy to unite the American team? Team USA clearly didn't look like a team. Team Europe, obviously, like with Justin Rose's comments after they won when they did their presser, and he said they don't have pairings. They're not picked as a team because they're buddies, right? Even though this week was about them, they're playing for those that played before them, right? And we saw throughout the entire Ryder Cup, they had a huge flag on Saturday for Seve Ballesteros and on the first tee. Europe had on their collar Seve's, silhouette, and they had a locker with one of Seve's shirts he wore, and obviously they use him as a great inspiration for Team Europe. Meanwhile, we're still over here as Team USA talking about who should or shouldn't be on the team.
Well, they've done this. There's no unity because this conversation has been going on since Live.
Sure.
And how it's going to affect the Ryder Cup. And I mean, Europe lost their captain over it, but that's about all.
Luke Donald did this in 15 months.
I think if anything, we were still debating on who should be on the team, who should off the team, who isn't, but I think this was a perfect reset for the European team to where, you're not going to see Lee Westwood anymore. You're not going to see Sergio anymore.
Which is what they needed after Whistling Straits.
Correct.
Because
so I think it's a great reset to stop the feelings and get facts in. But the United States team, DeChambeau, I mean, there was a lot of controversy.
There's only 2 players on the U.S. team that realistically you can honestly say, or 2 players that would have been on the U.S. team from Live that had a realistic chance, and that's DJ and Bryson.
I agree.
DJ has been on a lot of winning Ryder Cup teams. DJ is also, even though the U.S. hasn't won, DJ's played well over in Europe.
But you think about Taylor Gooch, though, too. I mean, if
he's never played on a team, though. So, he's not a rookie you want to bring in.
I'm not saying he's a rookie, but I mean,
he would be a rookie.
If you would have had qualifying, pure qualifying, if let's say Liv wasn't in the thing and Taylor Gooch performs, he's going to earn his way on the team with the way he's playing. So, and I think, again, it gets back into facts over feelings.
Yeah.
We're getting into the age of data. We're getting into stats matter, and that's how you pick your team. I mean, you put a foursome match out there with a guy that ball striking is 132nd in the world with irons, and he's in a foursomes match, first out for Team US with the number 1 player in the world. What do you think's going to happen in that? I mean, Sam Burns just isn't a foursomes player.
I was going to say, because that leads into the pairings question, right? Team USA, first day, they went buddy ball.
Yep.
They went buddy ball. Who's all best friends? Let's put them out because that worked. No, that doesn't work. Stats show that wasn't going to work. Also, too, there was a big question mark on Scotty's putting, right? So you got a bad ball striker in Sam Burns paired with a bad putter. It's like that's a wild card. We can honestly, just based off of probability, that looked like a loss right out of the gate as soon as the pairings came out for that. And then, and obviously everybody on Team USA that first match got steamrolled.
Yep.
Steamrolled.
Well, to their credit, I mean, they haven't played in 5 weeks. So what did we really expect?
What do you guys think about that? Kyle, would you ever lead into a major playing and not playing in 5 weeks?
No.
Mm-hmm. Paul McGinley's pretty fired up about that.
You know who has played?
What?
Bryson DeChambeau.
He's played pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
Played pretty well.
Not a single round over 68 leading into Ryder Cup.
That doesn't suck.
Nope.
No.
And I would say it's like, if we look at the pairings, right, the pairings that surprised me, we knew they were going to send JT and Spieth off together. That's not a surprise. But, Max Homa and Brian Harman is like one that I'm like, I didn't, even though they technically, Brian Harman and Max Homa were the 2 best Americans on the team, points-wise this week. That's one of the pairings that didn't really make sense to me. But then on the other hand, like there's a lot of surprising pairings on Europe's side. And of course, Paul Azinger, who is, my opinion, the worst announcer in the world, just kept saying, well, Team Europe, with Eduardo Molinari has this statistics, and they've had the pairing set for the last 3 weeks. Well, it worked. But I just don't understand how Team USA, the PGA Tour is supposed to be the best tour in the world. They're supposed to have all the analytics. They're supposed to be so sound that they can show up anywhere and beat anybody anywhere. Yet they show up with buddy ball on the first tee with a captain that says after his team gets blanked out the first day, essentially, their captain goes, "Oh no, we're right where we want to be. We're doing great."
It worked well for Europe in the Solheim Cup. They were down 4-0 after the foursomes match.
It's a little different. That's a little
I
different.
was being facetious, but
Okay.
anyway.
Well, it kind of leads into Steve's point too about data and analytics. Is how good does Luke Donald look now with picking Lud? I don't know how to say his name. The kid that hadn't played in any major.
A Burr. No,
A Burr, yeah.
no. They made sure to say it differently at the Ryder Cup because someone finally asked him how he announces it. And it's like a bear.
I mean, how good was he?
For
Stepping
2
up.
days.
Yeah.
Well, I would say that first match that day, he and Victor were.
And you got to think for him, that was his first major.
The guy's never played in front of crowds like that, ever. Now he struggled against Brooks Koepka on Sunday, which honestly, Brooks Koepka in singles, anybody's going to struggle against him.
Still look better than Scheffler.
Scheffler played well on Sunday though. Him and Rahm's match were, I mean, they were both tit for tat. I mean, as far as who was your biggest, who were you most impressed with, and then who were you?
I was more impressed with Luke Donald and the way he handled his team more than anything else. Now, from a playing standpoint,
I'll say players wise.
I mean, you really couldn't get into, Fleetwood Mac did a great job. And then the way, again, John Rahm, the way he played, and then Justin Rose. The way he took Bob McIntyre under his wing and went out and got some points, and the battle he put up at 43 years old, probably his last Ryder Cup.
Yeah.
Before he tends into captaincy.
He's making a great bid for a future captaincy.
But, I think if anything on that side, and I was impressed with Max Homa on the American team. I didn't get to see too much of Brian Harman. I was very impressed with the commercials. I mean, I saw so many commercials. I mean, it was great advertising.
And yes, I'm so dedicated to this podcast, guys, that I was up at 1:30 Friday and Saturday. I watched every single shot that TV allowed us to watch.
So you watched 20 minutes of golf?
I think even though total hours I was up was like more than a day, actual hours watching golf, actual golf shots, still probably less than 5. But and ultimately, the coverage was just absolutely garbage. But I would say my biggest winners and losers of the Ryder Cup, biggest winner on the U.S. side is Max Homa.
Yep.
Max Homa, that was his first Ryder Cup. I think he technically, between President's Cup and Ryder Cup, he only has one loss. I mean, Max Homa showed up, and Max Homa's caddy showed up, right? Biggest losers, or biggest winner on the Europe side, I would say, is Victor Hovland. He's backed up his play this year. It shows that current form matters, right? Yes, they are all playing for something bigger, adrenaline, all that. I get that. That could bring the best out of you or the worst. But Victor Hovland's game showed up, and he dominated for Team Europe. Biggest losers, Colin Morikawa shouldn't touch a Ryder Cup team again for the foreseeable future. Absolutely garbage. Hot garbage how he played this week. And then Europe side, I don't think there's really a loser. I would say maybe the only loser is that Nikolai Højgaard. He had a great pairings. He was playing well. And then like middle of the round, around holes 8 or 9, he just started to like falter. And then, dropping clubs in his backswing, things like that. So you could tell like confidence wasn't quite there, And then, but ultimately the biggest loser of this Ryder Cup was
Zach Johnson.
Zach Johnson. How did he even get near this captain? What has he done in a Ryder Cup that he was deserving of being a captain?
You turn and burn captains. I mean, I don't understand why. A player can be on 6 to 8 teams over that, but a captain can only be 2 max, and then that's it. Very rarely. Has guys actually gone on to captain more than twice? And then that's it. Tom Watson, he actually split 11 years, and then Phil took him to the woodshed. So, after, what was that, 2014?
I mean,
But I mean, you have to have some continuity at the captaincy, but it's almost like it's a made for TV thing. So we're just going to start rolling people through. And, you actually wonder how he got the captaincy before Fred Couples got it.
That's what I don't understand. Like, how does, or Justin Leonard. How is Justin Leonard not a captain before Zach Johnson? Justin Leonard made a putt to win the Ryder Cup.
Why do you think a Ryder Cupper has to be a Ryder Cup captain?
I mean, I understand that. I get that point. Like I said before the podcast, Deion Sanders should probably be our captain at Bethpage.
Prime time.
Because at least one thing, he's going to be motivated.
I think that's the one thing. I went back and watched some clips of how Davis Love handled the team, like interactions with players not playing good. Like, he would pull them to the side and, pep them up. But one thing he didn't do was pull any player off of a shot or tell them to make a decision. For Zach Johnson to go up to Spieth, back him off of a tee shot, and basically make his brain go into a panic, so he snap hooks a 3-wood into the water. I mean, that says a lot. And then every time that we did get to watch golf, Zach was just on his golf cart, sunglasses.
Oh, the scrotum cam.
What?
It was the worst camera angle in all of TV history.
The golf carts had a monitor.
You know where we put our cups in the golf cart?
Yeah.
The camera's facing up at where you would be sitting. And then supposedly that was Zach Johnson's agent riding around everywhere with him.
Yeah, and the entire time he had his Oakleys as tight on his face as he could get them and his hat down. There wasn't a whole lot of interaction. And then if you look at the Davis Love, he barely was in a cart. He was walking with his players, splitting time between the whole group, going to watch golf, not sitting in a cart getting paraded around. So I think that's where some of the falter is too. Not to point all the fingers, but you had a captain who wasn't active during the Ryder Cup. He was just active during the press conferences.
I mean, I'm going to point fingers because we were told leading into this Ryder Cup, Europe had zero chance. This U.S. team is so strong, so dominant because the PGA Tour is so good that this should have been if anything, it would have been close and U.S.A. still wins. Like, it would have been lucky if Europe got close to them. So, yeah, I'm going to point the finger completely at Zach Johnson. What did you do for 2 years? Oh, then you say, there's no way for me to watch live golfers.
Well, he picked out nice belts.
Oh, my God, that was the funniest thing. Oh, Team USA just has great belts. It's like, wow, really? That's what we're talking about here on TV while they're getting their butts whooped?
At the same time, though, 21 of the 24 players in this Ryder Cup all reside in the United States of America. So, it's not like it was back in the day when you didn't know certain players on the European team because you never saw them unless they were in the the British Open or the Open, whatever we want to call it these days. You never saw them, but now they're all here. And again, I think it was 6 or 7 of them, including the captain of Europe, went to college in America. So it's not like, these guys aren't, they're nobodies over in Europe. We know them. We can see them coming up. Just look at the PGA Tour.
On paper, Europe has played way better than Team USA has of the last 6 months. Mm-hmm. When we're including the European Tour starts as well as the PGA Tour. The perfect example is they talked about how Team Europe had 7 of 10 players make the top 10 at the BMW 2 weeks ago. Meanwhile, USA is over here saying, Team Europe's going to be rusty because they were playing golf. And
they're going to be tired.
Their legs are going to be tired, and it's going to be a tough walk. It's like, what are you talking about? Wyndham Clark. Oh, you really wanted Rory McIlroy, didn't you? Oh, you wanted Rory. You got beat by Bob McIlroy.
Who was it that said... the whole time I'm thinking, just who was it that said Wyndham Clark was going to be a flop? Oh, that was me.
Hey,
do you need a mirror? Do you need a mirror?
Yeah. Wyndham, you want Rory.
Speaking of Rory, how fired up was he about the triangle after that round?
So I was going to say that leads us into Hatgate.
I got some opinions on this one.
Okay, so Hatgate. What is Hatgate? I absolutely love European fans because they're like soccer fans, and you look at like soccer games over there, and they're insane. And the banter, right?
Yeah,
so you have Patrick Cantlay trying to make a putt. Meanwhile, you see in the back. And I'm sitting there. I'm like, you got to be kidding me!
And they were singing something too.
That was amazing. That was amazing. I mean, that's just, if you like sports, you got to like banter like that. But supposedly the story is, I mean, if you're paying attention to us right now and you're listening to us talk about Ryder Cup, you know what Hatgate is. But, you know, they were saying that Patrick Cantlay wasn't wearing a hat because he wants to get paid to play in the Ryder Cup. Now, I don't think that's a far-fetched accusation for a guy that wears a Goldman Sachs hat every other tournament of the year. You know, I see some dots that are starting to line up here.
They went through this before.
They went through
this. This is not new. This is David Duval, you know, back in the day. I mean, they were ready to boycott over this. And that's where the $200,000 for charity came from. Yeah,
Team USA, for whatever reason, feels like they should always be paid for something.
They are paid for the Ryder Cup.
I know.
They are. The PGA of America, the money that comes from the Ryder Cup, they actually put a coffer into the pension fund of PGA Tour members.
Not European Tour players.
No, the DP World Tour does not do that. But actually, if you think about it, the PGA of America just not only pay Team USA, but they pay Team 21 of the, or 9 of the 12 guys from Europe, because they're PGA Tour members as well.
Yep.
So they're going to get a pension anyway. So the money goes into the pension fund. So basically, I didn't get paid.
Okay, you have retirement.
I didn't get paid for the Ryder Cup when I was 31 years old, but I got paid for it when I was 51.
Yeah. So what are they complaining about?
Exactly.
Daryl, what do you think about Hatgate?
I got a couple of different scenarios here. I think, first of all, playing for your country is probably one of the biggest honors that you could have.
Doing anything.
Yeah, doing
of that
anything.
Stage.
It don't matter if it's Olympics or if it's whatever it is. Suck it up. One tournament of the year that you're not getting paid, suck it up and do it for your country. Not and not for your ego, your pride, or whatever. Do it for your country. And you should know that you're privileged to even be able to be in that position to do it. That's one part of it. Now, the other part is looking at it from the outside in. One, how much golf did you get to watch, Nikki? You said like 5 hours out of the...
I mean, that's way too long. That's way, like there was nowhere near that much coverage.
So we have all these commercials, and Ryder Cup is huge business. It's one of the largest, I think, grossing tournaments of the,
on the calendar.
On the calendar.
Yeah.
So where's all this money going? Yeah, exactly. So, I mean...
The triangle.
I do see a point where...
Hope.
Okay, you still have expenses as a player. You got to pay your caddy, flights and things like that. Unless that stuff's being covered.
No, I was gonna say the Ryder, like nothing. They show up, they get free uniform. Well, free, but they get team uniforms, team houses. Wives can come. Like they don't pay a dime. They don't pay a dime. Now they showed Robert McIntyre paid for all his buddies to come. So if you have friends, family, stuff like that, you're gonna have to pay. Set them up, but they don't you just show up. Everything's given to you on a platter.
Yeah. I think it's in that situation, you gotta suck it up and play for something bigger than yourself.
I think you have to, what you should do is, as a player, you should have to apply to play for the Ryder Cup. It's not a given.
So you're saying a new task force?
Because yes, it's like if you want to weed out that, don't have an automatic qualifiers like that.
I agree. Yeah,
you have to submit an application that I want to apply for the the 2025 Ryder Cup in New York. Bethpage Black.
Yikes!
And then you sit back and go, because maybe you don't. Why do I have to play for my country if I don't want to?
Yeah.
But do it now, not at the event.
Yeah.
For that. And I just think it's almost like, I mean, I don't mean to beat up on the kid because, Matty Ice played well, or Patty Ice, I'm sorry. He played well.
Patrick Cantlay did play well.
But the man got married yesterday, on Monday. So you're telling me that all your preparation leading into the Ryder Cup is basically the second biggest day of your life is your marriage, or
depends on the context.
I think childbirth and stuff like that. But it's like, I apologize for that. But the biggest day of your life is, maybe it's a second marriage. I don't know. But it gets back to, I mean, if you got that going on at Monday, because everybody here except Nikki, we all got married. And I'm telling you right now, the day before, I think would you go play golf the day before you're married?
Hell no.
Hell yes.
Hey, Megan, I want to get married right after the Pro in December. Let's get married in Pinehurst because the Pro ends on Thursday. We're going to get married on Friday. And then for Tuesday, for the week ahead of time, I'm not planning anything or am I planning everything? And then I'm trying to play in the golf tournament as well. So I think some people may have had their priorities a little bit askewed.
Well, I'll say this then.
But he did perform.
Well, I was going to say maybe other people need to have their priorities like Patrick Cantlay on Team USA. Because Patrick Cantlay, for the most part, even though he ended up 2-2-0, he showed up.
Or maybe Patrick Cantlay just set the standard for men for marriages. I'm not doing anything
Golf first.
before.
Golf first.
Honey, you take care of
Then
everything.
wedding. Golf first, then wedding.
I'm almost sure that, Kyle, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't we all play golf? All the uncles and
Yeah, I mean, you the
everything?
day before,
The day before?
yeah. Like
I think we played at Deerbrook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
if I was gonna say, if I'm lucky enough to have that option, we are playing golf the day before my wedding. Are you kidding me?
Okay.
I'm glad this is being recorded.
Hold on. We're going to get married on Monday, but the Monday before, I got to go practice. Tuesday, I got to go practice. Wednesday, I got to go practice. Thursday, got to practice, and then we got a gala dinner. We got other things. Friday, I'm playing golf. Saturday, I'm playing golf. Sunday, I'm playing golf.
Golf is life.
So
Hey,
good luck with that one.
Some would say it's kind of like getting all your ducks in a row.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds like just great logistics.
I think that's what she signed up for.
Yep.
All right.
Here's the
I digress.
multi-million-dollar
Anyway,
contract.
so
Enjoy.
unfortunately, with Hatgate, would you guys say the European fans were too hostile?
No.
No chance. No chance.
I loved it.
No chance. Nowhere near hostile enough. I thought it should have been even dirtier.
Well, you saw what they did to Scotty Scheffler after every missed putt, right?
Oh yeah.
Those were some loud boos.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, but that's right. Like that's the Ryder Cup. If you're
That's
if
part
you're
of
going
it.
to play your rival, the opposing fan base is going to, hate you. Hate you. I mean, the freaking Big 12 had to ban horns down for Texas games because fans are so brutal to Texas players. But anyways, so ultimately it led into the scene of what now is Joe LaCava versus Rory McIlroy. What might be one of the most disrespectful things I've seen happen on a professional, like way worse than Miguel Angel
Jimenez
and Keegan Bradley, but like this was the most classless. Now he was the caddy for Tiger Woods, so I'm not surprised. But this is
Freddie.
This is the most classless thing I've seen on a putting green. So Patrick Cantlay makes his putt, right, to essentially force, Rory, Team Europe, they're going to have to have the match, right? So while their Team USA is celebrating, waving their hats, good banter back at the crowd. I get that. Joe LaCava has already celebrated with his guy. He's standing on the edge of the putting green, right? Celebrations are pretty much over. Then he takes his hat off and walks onto the green towards Rory McIlroy, waving his hat while Rory McIlroy is walking around reading his putt. And then, yes, he wasn't near his line, but he was in Rory's way. It's Rory's turn on the green. That is Rory's green now. It's his turn to play. And he's still standing there waving his hat. Rory probably told him to get the F out of the way or something like that. He just looked at him and went like this. And then Joe LaCava still started mouthing off at him. And then started mouthing off at his caddy. Then started mouthing off at Shane Lowry. Now, the first camera angle didn't look bad. It looked like it all happened click-clack really fast. Then the actual wide lens came out and played the entire video. He walked towards Rory, about 20 feet, 30 feet. He was already off the green, celebrated, and walked onto the green to continue celebrating in front of Rory. It's like, you're a caddy. I get it. You're a big name. You caddied for Tiger Woods and Freddie Couples. Big whoop. You're a caddy. You carry the bag. Go back to the golf bag and pick it up. You're done. What are you doing on that green?
Well, I think with what happened afterwards, Bones handled it really well. Because obviously Rory took out all his aggression on Bones and he just absorbed it, calmed the situation down, absorbed all the blows from Shane Lowry, and then Bones and obviously Rory had that conversation and Rory apologized, but Rory still, as of right now that this is being recorded, has not spoken to Joe or vice versa.
Oh, but fake news, golf media said right before the Ryder Cup singles, they resolved it. They spoke to each other and
their teams spoke to each other.
No, they said Rory on the news.
But I get that, but their teams.
And then Rory
spoke
after
to
the
each
match
other.
goes, I never talked to him. I'm still pissed about it.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing is with how close Tiger and Rory are. Obviously, Rory knows Joe. Joe knows Rory. Is after all that came out, was there a conversation with Tiger and Rory? I mean that.
I think Rory's phone was off because Rory showed up looking different on Sunday. Rory McIlroy, you can bet the house on that he was winning that match, and he beat the brakes. He played Morikawa, right?
I think so.
Yeah. No, he played Burns.
Wow.
Yeah, he played Burns. But anyways, like it just
No, he didn't. He didn't play Burns. McIlroy did not play Burns.
Yes,
I'm sorry,
he
you're
did.
right. He did.
Yes, he did.
I was thinking Wyndham Clark. My apologies.
Wyndham Clark played Bobby Mack, and Bobby Mack beat him. Anyways, it comes down to like you're right. Like who had a conversation with him? I don't think this is. I personally don't think it's over. I mean, what's his name? Luke Donald said it was a great reset for his team mentally. He says because they were kind of a little lackadaisical, Saturday afternoon, so that fired them up again.
Well, if there's going to be controversy on a putting green at the Ryder Cup, Team USA is involved because
True.
You go back to
Justin Leonard. Team USA, yes, stomped all over the green.
Jose Maria Alfalbo had a putt to have that match.
I was saying Paul, and that's why I love because it was starting to get overbearing. How and I get we're watching it on, our side of the media coverage, right? So essentially, yes, they are going to be a little more biased towards Team USA. Paul Azinger was a captain. Of course, he's going to be a little more biased. But it was super refreshing to have Paul McGinley on there because that's the first thing Paul McGinley said. He goes, let's not act surprised because of what happened with Justin Leonard. And Paul Azinger had the biggest eye roll in the entire world. It's like, it's not wrong. You guys all went and stomped on the green when meanwhile he still had a putt to tie.
Yep.
And I just think at least some controversy happened to make it interesting. It's great for people like us to talk about it. And then I would probably say that leaves us to
Caleb's thoughts.
Because we already talked about captains, right? Now, real quick, just Luke Donald, should he be at Bethpage?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Europe's really hurting themselves if Luke Donald doesn't continue to be the captain.
I think, and
Eduardo Maloney.
yes,
Yeah.
that's a
Yeah.
given.
Yeah.
I to be honest with you, I'm not looking forward to the 2025 Ryder Cup being in New York because I think, unfortunately, I think the crowds are going to try to become more the event than and it's typically that's what happens in America.
If I can, I'm going to try to be there.
Speaking of crowds, how about that 82-year-old
Sounds like a good
man?
Loggerhead field trip.
The 82-year-old
Yeah,
man
did you guys see that? 82-year-old man.
jumped out of the stands
Oh,
after
yeah,
year one
yeah,
and then
yeah.
jumped in, cannonballed in the green.
He looked like the professor from what's Bobby Boucher?
Waterboy.
Waterboy.
Colonel
No
Sanders.
Colonel Sanders. You're wrong. And
The Abba Mandula.
But it's funny because it's almost like
Gata.
you can put the timer on him. And it's like, is he ever going to get to the lake?
because those were some long strides. I was like, please don't go down. Please don't go down. But hey, good for him.
They
Man.
probably could have taken 2 commercial breaks and cut back, and he's still not in the lake yet.
Yeah, but
I wonder if they threw him in jail.
I will say 2025 is going to be ruthless for Team Europe. But actually, I mean, I'm happy Rory said it. Rory goes, we're showing up to win. Like this, we're not scared, things like that. So it's shaping up. It should be a good one if Team USA actually picks the 12 best players. But and then Caleb couldn't be on the pod today, so he sent his overall thoughts. He said, quote, Caleb, my overall thoughts on the Ryder Cup are the course looked and played great. Competition ended up being much better than it started. Depends who you ask. It took the Americans too long to realize that they were playing a golf tournament and wake up and compete. Team Europe played solid all week and beat Team USA in several key areas. Hole number 1 and hole 18 and approaches with middle and long irons. 180 to 220 is where Europe won. Paul Azinger told that enough. Team USA needs to stop worrying about who's friends with who and who's getting paid what to play. They need to pick the best golfers who want to be there and go out and compete.
Well said.
Yep. Short and simple.
I agree.
Short and simple.
And if you want to be on the Ryder Cup team, then I think you have to play in the Zurich Classic next year,
The team event.
team event. And then shame on the PGA Tour for taking away the only match play event
Yeah. There's no match play.
on our schedule.
And that was my
So,
argument. Like Sam Burns kind of earned a right. He beat the best players at the WGC to win the WGC this past year match play. But And I honestly think there needs to be. I think Team USA needs to move the Fortinet a week earlier, so you do have a week break like the Europeans got. There needs to be a tour event 2 weeks before the Ryder Cup.
You do understand though that the tournament that was in Europe on the DP World Tour was almost like one of their majors. It wasn't the Fortnite, which in Napa Valley, which is played at some golf course that nobody cares about.
But Europe does their schedule like that.
Exactly,
They're into the major season. The USA actually changed the schedule to make the Ryder Cup a major.
But what's going to happen next year?
Because they want to give September the Ryder Cup.
You're still going to have 5 weeks between the FedEx Cup and then the Ryder Cup. So what are you going to put in between there?
Wow.
Oh, maybe the Myrtle Beach?
Whoa. Actually, 2024 live, man. PIF is coming in. And
the schedule's already set.
Not for 2025.
Not for 2025, but
that's what I'm saying.
Is.
So it could change. But
so you're telling me there's a chance?
Yeah.
How cool is it that Koepka brought the team some swag? Did you guys see that picture?
Smash shirts.
Yeah.
The smash shirts. I know Buddy Claude probably loved that. But yeah, that was weird. Because a few of those guys wearing those shirts were awfully vocal. But anyways.
One guy didn't even recognize Ricky Fowler. I'll tell you who said on the end.
He's a little short guy.
No one, just like no one saw any of Brooks Koepka's shots on Sunday, you never saw any of Ricky Fowler. We didn't say this. Would you guys ever give a putt that seals a win?
No.
Yeah, we almost didn't talk about that. Sorry, Miles, but Ricky Fowler gave a 2.5 footer that sealed the Ryder Cup for Europe. Yes, yeah. Ricky Fowler told Tommy Fleetwood to pick it up. Now, Ricky Fowler's did still have about 12 feet for par. If we're going off of odds are pretty high that Tommy Fleetwood's going to make it. But you got to make that guy putt that. Especially on 16.
You know, the only other time that was done was Jack Nicklaus did it.
But that was to retain, and they both agreed.
But Jack Nicklaus, and he basically told him that, although I know you can make that putt, I didn't want you to have to deal with the ramifications of if you missed it. Because it would be like Sandy Lyle
because that was on European soil,
right? And so he did it for that purpose.
Yeah. Yep.
But at the same time, did Ricky Fowler was the Ryder Cup lost at that moment?
Not really. It just sealed it because.
Right. But you're right. You don't give that putt.
But you don't. But that being said, that's the first hope of Europe actually realizing, holy crap, they're going to win it. Because it was looking bleak there for a sec. All those 3-up leads that Europe had shrunk down really fast. And then JT just won his match. So USA was crawling back in it. But I got to see that 2.5, 3-footer down the hill to at least clinch it. So
I agree.
Cool.
Awesome. Well, let us know your thoughts in the comments on this Ryder Cup, and we'll catch you on the next episode.